Hello and welcome to my channel. This channel is dedicated to exposing Watchtower lies, deception and cover-up. My name is Marcy and I was one of Jehovah's Witnesses for over 30 years. I served as a regular pioneer for 10 of those years. I was first contacted in the door-to-door ministry back in 1987 and I finally left the organisation in 2022. This video is a catch-up video, and what I wanted to do is just talk to you about how my life has changed recently since I left the Watchtower organisation. Now, the Watchtower tells its members, and it told us, that it's the best life ever, and they made a song about that. One of the new songs is called Best Life Ever, and it shows people pioneering and Bethelites and things like that, and very happy people serving their God Jehovah. But I beg to differ about this subject of the best life ever, because I have found the best life ever since leaving. You know, people talk about Jehovah's Witnesses, they talk about being happy people, and we were constantly told, when I was a witness, that the people outside the organisation and the people who left the organisation were not happy. They were just putting on a front of being happy, and really they had nothing going for them. And, you know, because all they had waiting for them was Armageddon, where they would die at that time. And that was always on their mind. And it wasn't the best life. They weren't happy. And we believed that. I believed that. But I did look at people who I knew. My ex-husband's sister Joanne, I want to talk about her. She's one of those people who seem to have everything go for her right, and always has. She's a really nice person, and everybody likes Joanne, and everything seemed to go well with her with work, and she's got lots of friends. She went on lots of holidays. She's very pretty as a young person. Even now in her 50s, she's stunning. And she met and married someone. He has his own business, they have a beautiful home, they have nice holidays. And she would never show any interest in becoming a Jehovah's Witness when I used to try and witness to her. She was very nice, she loved the witnesses, she'd have a little chat with them, but she wouldn't get involved. And yet, she had a wonderful life. They had holidays abroad, and, you know, everything seemed to go well with Joanne. And, yeah, I was told that Joanne was putting the front on. She wasn't really happy. She'd got nothing really to look forward to. And I believed that because that's what we were told in the society. And yet, you know, they keep having to tell us that, or they keep telling their members that it's the best life ever. And by and large, it can be a good life if you toe the line and don't step out of it. And don't ask questions about nagging doubts that you may have got. It can be a good life. You know, and parts of it are good. I'm not saying, and I've never said it's all bad, because it's not all bad. But this best life ever, well, I never really thought about it until I left. When I left, I wondered how my life would be, because I found myself completely alone, apart from people who I worked with. And I didn't know how all this was going to play out. I didn't know how my life was going to change. And would I find that I'd left the best life ever? Or would the best life ever begin after I left? Well, I want to talk about the best life ever that I'm now living. And my life has changed completely beyond recognition. It is an upheaval leaving the Watchtower. You know, when you've been indoctrinated for so long, such a long time, that it's like a bomb going off in your life. And for people who have been born into it, I don't know how that feels, because I was in my 20s when I went into it. And so, you know, I'd already lived a life, gone out, enjoyed myself, been on holidays abroad, went to nightclubs, you know, went drinking with my friends and stuff. I did all that stuff before I became a witness. But those who are born in don't always get the opportunity to do that. If they do, they're told that they're living a double life. So I don't really understand what it's like to be born into it. I went into it. My kids were born into it. So, you know, finding myself inside there, and I was quite happy because I believed that Armageddon was imminent back in the 1980s. And, you know, I believed that. And I used to witness to Joanne a lot. But she was never interested. And sometimes I used to think, she seems to be really happy. You know, we're told she's not, but she seemed to be. And so now, finding myself outside the organisation. Of course, it wasn't long after I'd been out, and I've told you about this in my other videos about feeling really lost and I didn't know what to do. And I'd been praying for someone to be with and to understand me. And I knew that it's going to be very difficult to find someone who would understand what the emotional state that I was in and what I'd been through as a member of a cult, the Watchtower Society, for so long. And then along came Paul. And so that brought, you know, anxiety, because I didn't know how to tell him. I told him that I'd stopped attending. I met him on JW Match. And my profile said that I was a very active, very zealous witness, which I was. And I'd not changed that profile. I've not even been on it for over 3 years anyway, when I got the message that Paul had messaged me. And I went on to see what that was about, and that's how we started talking. But, you know, he is very, very understanding, because he's had 27 years in the Watchtower. And he also was questioning things at the time of me and him starting to talk. And of course now he doesn't go anywhere. He's got his own reasons for why he doesn't go. He's not the same reasons as why I stopped going. And, you know, when we get the cottage, and when we get moved, because this place is looking a bit bare. Look at the walls. My big scripture's gone from behind me that was in that square, and it's now residing at Wentworth. But when we get the cottage and we get up there, I'd really want to interview Paul, because his story is very interesting, and you know, he will tell you his side of what he saw going on when he first met me. And so yeah, that's something that I'm looking forward to doing, is doing an interview with him. But he's been my rock. He's supported me, you know. He's seen the tantrums and the tears, as it were, you know, of what happened as I left, and all the stuff. You know, we've been through a real time together, and it's forged a very, very strong relationship that we've got. So I feel very blessed, because I never found anybody in the Watchtower. I never felt good enough for anybody. I always felt that I was going to, you know, that they were watching all the time, and I wasn't be a good wife. You know, and I just couldn't see it. It just was just horrendous. And so I didn't think I'd ever meet anybody. And yet I've met this wonderful person since leaving. And we've been attacked spiritually since leaving, both of us. And so my question would be to Jehovah's Witnesses, why would the demons step up a campaign against us after leaving, when their aim is to get us out? Surely they would leave us alone and move on to attacking other people who were thinking of leaving the organisation, you know, or who are in the organisation and wanting to stay in it. That is their, you know, that is their goal, that we're told as Jehovah's Witnesses that demons have. But since leaving, we've had all sorts of problems, which are clearly demonic attacks. Since leaving, both of us have come under spiritual warfare of the heaviest kind, and still are fighting those battles. So why are we being attacked now we've left? That is my question to Jehovah's Witnesses. So, you know, since leaving, I've had a really, really happy life. I'm really happy. I'm not putting the front on. Everything is working out wonderfully for me and for Paul. And we both know that we have got the blessing of Yahweh and his son Jesus Christ. We both understand that. You know, the fact that we've got this cottage that came out of nowhere, that I've been praying about it I've been after a cottage there for years. And I made a video about the power of prayer, how I prayed for the cottage, and how I took a picture of the very cottage 5 years ago that I would come to call my home. And how it came up in the Facebook feed the very day I was going to view that cottage. And I saw that as a sign from Jesus Christ, because it's Jesus Christ that I discussed the matter of the cottage with. And I kept saying to him, if it's not meant to be, then please don't let this come about. And I need a sign to know that it is you. And the picture I took 5 years before came up in the Facebook feed. And the way the cottage has come about, in under a month, we had not even heard about it a month ago. And in under a month, we got it, we visited it, we loved it. We went through all the interview process for a cottage on a country estate with the estate management. We were approved. I got the keys, and because Paul lives 300 miles away from me and has got commitments where he lives, it's me that's taken control of sorting everything out for the house. And the wonderful thing about it is that the help that I've received has come from my friends who are Jehovah's Witnesses, a lot of it. And, you know, we'd forged a friendship. We're even closer friends, you know, and it's turned out that there are witnesses who live nearby, and you know, I don't know I've been put there, but I've been put there for a reason. And we have been put there for a reason, me and Paul, and so we're looking forward to seeing what this is and what Yahweh wants us to do when we get into the cottage. But the way it's gone has been so smooth. We've got it decorated from top to bottom. I've got all new furniture for it from places that I wouldn't have imagined. And, you know, we've not had to spend a great deal of money to get it done up in the most beautiful way. And the neighbours and everybody that have been so welcoming, have been so kind to us. I feel as if we belong there, that is where we're meant to be. I made all new friends and had an absolutely wonderful, wonderful time. It's just unbelievable. And so I feel I've been invited to various things in village life, and Wentworth is a country village. It is a British country village. And as far as I've seen, there may be black people there, but I've not seen any that live there as yet. And so they've been so kind to me. Everybody, the neighbours all come out. The estate management have been wonderful, you know, and we're so happy, and they said we're so happy for you, and everything. And there's been absolutely zero racism, a zero. There's been no racism whatsoever to speak about since being in Wentworth, where I've been around, going to the local shops, going to the local pub, talking to the neighbours. There's just been absolutely zero. Everybody has been wonderful. And so I feel very settled. I was a bit worried about there may be a bit of, you know, people who may not be. Because we do live in a world where, you know, and when I grew up, racism was a big thing. And to live in an English village, I grew up in an English village. I grew up in Ecclesfield, which is another English village, not too far from Wentworth. There were no black people. And as a child, I did face racism. And although it's not the same these days, it is still, unfortunately, part of what happens in society. So I was a little bit concerned about Wentworth, but those concerns have completely evaporated. The neighbours have been round to say if you need anything, if you need any help, you know, you've got to do is just ask. We're so happy. You know, and I said a little old lady knocked on the door, and she lives in one of the bottom cottages and has been there forever, I think. And she just said, welcome, I've come to say to you, welcome to Wentworth. I just think it's lovely. And so my life has changed to be the way I've always dreamed it to be. I've always wanted. I've got the partner that I always wanted. I'm getting married to my best friend. I've got a beautiful home in a beautiful place. And my friends are so delighted for me. People at work who didn't really speak to me a lot. One of my work colleagues, you know, we get on quite well, and but she's not a person that I go out with or would say, shall we get together and go for a coffee or any of that. We get on as colleagues at work. And she's a family person. She's got 2 children, and you know, she's been through a tough time. She's lost her parents, and she was very, very close to them. And she's talked to me about this before. And she said to me the other day, I walked in and she was there, and she said, have you got a cottage at Wentworth? Have you moved? And I said, well, I've got a cottage at Wentworth, but I haven't moved yet. And she says, oh, I'm always in and out of Wentworth with the kids, because there's a big garden centre there, and it's got a little animal farm. There's loads of things to do, things to see. It's a big touristy place, and people go to take photos of the village and things like that. So she says, I'm always in and out of Wentworth. And she said, I might see you when I'm there. And she said, I might pop to see you, she said. And I said to her, you can come when you want. If you want to come, come round. Come and get a coffee and come and have a chat and bring the kids and what have you. And she said, I'd love to. And so, I said, well, when I'm in, I'll send you a message and tell you I'm in. And then just when you're thinking of coming, just check if I'm home. And if I'm home, you're welcome to come. And so, and this is what a lot of people, I've been amazed, people I used to work with who have retired have contacted me and said, oh, I'm up at Wentworth, I'd love to see you, and I might pop and see you. And they just want to come. And why not? And I'm just so happy. My life is just so much better. I will always welcome people. That's the sort of person I am. And, to be able to pop a pot of coffee on the stove and a slice of cake for people who want to come and have a chat, want to come to see a nice place and just want to, they're always welcome. Any of you are, knock on the door. So that's how it is, and it's what I've always wanted. When I grew up, that's what people did. People popped for a slice of cake and a cup of tea, and some tea and sympathy in a cruel world that we're living in. So this is gone sort of for me. It's like reverting back to the times when I grew up, when my mum used to do that. She always had the people pop for, she'd always got a cake in the oven and people come in. So, and that's what I always longed to do and be able to do, and never did at this house. But I will do it in my new home, and my life is so much more better. It's more tranquil, much more happier about things, and I'm just living now. I'm living the best life ever. It wasn't the Jehovah's Witness life, best life ever. And this is the best life ever. And learning about the Bible's true message about grace and having a personal relationship with Jesus Christ, so that we can be in good standing with his Father, is the best thing ever. And so I say that the best life ever has happened to me since leaving the Watchtower. It's the best thing I ever did. I'll never regret it. And, to those who say to me that I'm sat on death row, well, I'm very happy to be sat there. Because my prayers are being answered by somebody. And I say to you, who is answering those prayers? I keep asking. And nobody is answering me. So, if I'm sat on death row waiting, then so be it, because somebody's answering me and saying, no, you're not sat on death row. You're not waiting for Armageddon to kill you. And whatever's going to come about in this, with the new world, and I do believe that there will be a new world. I do believe that there will be a paradise here. And I do believe, because the Bible does say those things. But not just for Jehovah's Witnesses. It will be for those who do the will of God. So I just want to say thank you for watching this video, and to my lovely new subscribers. I've got quite a few new subscribers, and I'm heading up now towards 500 subscribers, and that's not a lot at the side of some YouTube channels who've got, you know, thousands of subscribers. But for a girl like me who thought that nobody would watch a single video that I put out, never mind subscribe to it, I'm just really happy. I love it, all of you who've taken the time to watch my videos and to support me on my journey out of the Watchtower. I want to say a big thank you, and I love all of you. And so I'm going to say now, until the next time, I'm going to say bye.